Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop this week, and I got a whopping 9 comics. It's a big week for me. One of the reasons was because Deadly Class was shorted on me the week it came out. So it took until now for me to get it. Deadly Class, issue number 26. And I've read this already. I read it digitally when it came out because it was being spoiled for me online. And I gotta say, this issue kind of annoyed me. Deadly Class is a book about life and death consequences, and they kind of removed the and death consequences from it. So I don't know where this is going to go moving forward. It's been one of my favorite books for its entire run until this issue. So we'll see where it goes from here. I hope it continues to be good, but removing the consequences from the book just seems to be a mistake to me. And next, we have Department H by the Kints, Matt and Charlene. Look at a theme that goes with Deadly Class and our guys with masks with bug eyes on them. And this one's been good since day one. This is issue 11. I think it's a wraparound also. Hold on, let's wrap it around. There we go. Ooh, something's lurking in the weeds. A mermaid. But this has been, the last few issues, disaster has hit their underwater lab, and they've just been trying to survive. And as they're just trying to survive, we're getting the backstories to the various characters. Let's see if they give us a little. Oh nope, that's giving us. They give us a little look in the beginnings and ends of the equipment. Up there's one of our characters, and a pin-up, I guess you'd call it. I've enjoyed this one. Locked room mystery. Survival, towering inferno story. Only there's no inferno. There's just 8 people trapped at the bottom of the ocean. I don't know what you'd call that. What do you call the towering inferno genre when there's only 8 people? It's not quite survival horror because it's not really horror, but survival? I don't know. Disaster? You got me. But anyway, Department H has been good. Give it a read. Invincible, issue number 133. This is the 25-cent issue. The end of all things. This starts, part 1 of 12. This starts the final story arc of Invincible, and it'll be ending in 12 issues. So that's a little sad, since this has been a good book since the beginning. See, Invincible is one. There's life and death consequences in Invincible, but not always, because it plays by its own superhero rules. So that sometimes people die, often people die in Invincible, but sometimes they come back, not always. Like in the last issue of Invincible, our lead character, Invincible, died and then came back a page later. But you expect that from a comic like Invincible, because as long as they have, rules to me, like the reason Deadly Class annoyed me so much is that people don't come back from the dead in Deadly Class. And now they do, so it's kind of like, well, that means everybody who's ever died in Deadly Class could potentially come back. As a matter of fact, I expect the woman in this last issue who got her head cut off to come back, like in The Punisher, that mob boss who was just a head. That could happen, too, now in Deadly Class. That couldn't happen in an issue before. But anyway, Invincible. Excellent series. Jump on board with the 25-cent issue for the last 12. And next we have Dark Horse Presents issue number 31, volume 3. And it looks like Carla Speed McNeil got Finder on the cover. That's a very symbolic, her heart replaced by an apple with a bite taken out. There's too much type on this cover for it doesn't grab me. But I don't know that these Dark Horse Presents covers ever grab me. Now that I think of it, I'm trying to think back to the other covers, and I can't remember one. So I guess there's just too much type on there for my taste. But it's we got the Black Beetle, we got the Black Sinister, we got Brooklyn Blood. We got, is this the Death Club? What was the name of this one? Murder Society. Oh, and we got, here's Finder. I don't think Finder has a logo every issue. Oh, there's Murder Society. There's the beginning of, no, hold on, that's still Murder Society. There's the beginning of Finder. Okay. That's what we got in Dark Horse Presents this month. That's pretty much all good stuff. Excuse me for a moment. I think Brooklyn Blood's been dragging on a little long, but it's still good. Dark Horse Presents, filled with good stuff. Is this any way to celebrate your 40th anniversary? Cerebus in Hell, issue number 1. Got issue number 0 a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed it. I guess those are the other ones that are coming out. It's done in this. Dave Sim has had hand problems, so he really can't draw anymore. Oh, there he is explaining that. So he's getting these old high resolution woodcuts or prints that are from art history, and he's cutting and pasting Cerebus into them. So he's making comic strips out of Cerebus. And I really enjoyed issue number 0. I liked it a lot better than I expected to, because I was kind of skeptical about this whole process. But I have to say the writing is really good and interesting, and he gets some interesting premises, and you can call them, I mean, there's a lot of humor in it, but it's not jokes like Peanuts is jokes, but there are jokes in it, and all sorts of, I gotta say, I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. When issue number 0 came out, I was like, we'll see how it is, and then I was thrilled by it. So if you're looking for an interesting comic to read, that's a series of comic strips of Cerebus kind of exploring hell in a philosophical kind of way amongst old fine art prints from centuries past, give this one a read. Next, we have Manifest Destiny, issue number 26, spooky cover. Our Lewis and Clark crew are wintering. They built a fort. They've got Indians around them. They don't know if the Indians will be nice to them or not. They don't know if building the fort will make the Indians like them less. But they're just trying to winter through this. But meanwhile, one of their guys freaked out, shot another guy, and there's some sort of mysterious mist or fog outside their fort, which I guess is what this cover is representing, the mysterious fog that has caused a couple people to see monsters and one guy to shoot the other. And we left off with that cliffhanger of one guy shooting the other. So we'll see what happens this issue. But Manifest Destiny has been pretty good. 26. Nowadays, that's like one of the higher numbered comic series out there. Give it a read. Here we go with God Country number 2. And it's funny, I did not know this was on my pull list for this week until I saw it. I got the email and I was like, oh yeah, because when I buy a first issue, I read it and then I decide. Then usually later on in that week, I get an email from my comic shop, an automated one, that has the final order cutoffs for the next issue. Usually after you buy issue 1 that week, you can still order issue 2. That's the final order cutoff is that Monday. So I buy it on Thursday, get the email Friday or Saturday, and if I click the button by Monday at 5, it goes on my pull list. You can order it issue. I can put it on my pull list, or I can go issue by issue. With sometimes I go, I like that, I'm going to put it on my pull list. Sometimes I go, I didn't like that, I'm not going to put it on my pull list. And sometimes I go, maybe I'll get one more issue of it to decide and see, which is what I did with God Country. But the funny thing is, after I do that, I usually forget, because it usually is in my brain as not on my pull list, and then it shows up like, you'll be getting this week, and I'm like, oh, I ordered another issue of that? What do you know? So I don't have number 3 in my pull list yet, but maybe if I like number 2 enough, I will put it there. But we'll have to read number 2 first. And now we've got Kill or Be Killed number 6. I like that cover. Very fisheye lens-ish, coming right at you. I don't even want to open this one up because the last one ended on a cliffhanger. So we'll open up to the back and see what article they got for us. Up there's next issue's cover. I think that's his girlfriend with a shotgun. And the article in the back is, A case study of two savages, the naked city. This is one of the interesting things I like about the Brubaker and Phillips books, is they have someone usually write an essay or in the back, and Sean Phillips gives us some nice illustrations to go with the essay. And this stuff is about crime. Now there's just a short piece. This is about crime essay or some aspect of society. And it's just something that they give you in the back that you don't get in the trade. And I kind of like that. So I'm glad I get a little something extra for buying the individual issues. But this has been a great story about a guy who's got to kill one person a month, or maybe a demon comes and takes him. But it's good stuff. The cops finally caught up with him at the end of, or they stumbled onto him at the end of last issue. So we'll see what happens this issue. And our final issue of the week. Whew, I don't think I've done a video with this many comics in it in a while. Wow, and that's only 9. Issue 164, A Fallen House, The Walking Dead. As you can see here at the end of last issue, an ocean of zombies managed to breach the wall. Well, they didn't even breach the wall, they breached the gate. Didn't they used to have something to... I question their defense. I question their military tactics sometimes in this. And like this, they have these. You can see these big walls around the city, and usually the weakest part of any fort is the gate. And I could have sworn, I don't know if I'm thinking of some other series or this one, they parked a bus across the gate just to make sure that the zombies couldn't get in. They had done this this time. This, if Woody had gone straight to the police, this whole matter could have been avoided. So if they park a bus across that gate, I don't know. That just may be some other story I'm thinking of. But The Walking Dead is always good, even if their military tactics aren't always sound in these war issues that we've been having lately. But 164 issues, still going strong. I'll show you some of my background art. And if you remember last week, I told you I got a bunch of the quarter Walking Dead issues and was making my own sketch covers. So let me show you what I did here. I pulled the staples out. See, they're back in there now. Wrapped it with a good piece of Bristol, and there's the 25-cent Walking Dead. You have to figure out the exact size to get it so it's flush and works nicely with the comic. So that's what I did with these. I made my own blank sketch covers with them. By pulling the staples, I also rebuilt the logo so I could print it out on the piece of paper that I wrap over. So I print out the piece of paper, draw on it, and then fold it and pull the staples and put it back in. And then put it in these nice comic bags. As you can see, I've done 4 of them. What do we have here? This is one of my monster faces. Then I was working from photographs. I'm not sure if I like the this is supposed to be, what's that guy's name? Daryl, but he's too heavy browed. I'm gonna have to go in there, and I'm not overly thrilled with this technique. And that was supposed to be Glenn, but I'm not sure if I quite captured him. Like I said, I'm not a huge likeness working from photographs, guys. And there's a sort of Archie Comics zombie pinup. I kind of was looking at Dan Parent, who is the Archie Comics, longtime Archie Comics artist. That's his name, right? All of a sudden Dan DeCarlo, pardon me. Dan Parent's, I think, another Archie. I was looking at Dan DeCarlo for this one, so that's why it looks like a Dan DeCarlo drawing. I knew Dan Parent. Who was Dan Parent? Geez, I think he's another Archie artist, but I can't remember now. But Dan DeCarlo, that's based on. We got Glenn, Daryl, and one of my weirdo monster faces. Okay, so there's a little sketch cover goodness for you. These are all up on eBay too. If you want to click the link below, I think they're still up there. If you want to get one yourself, and you guys all have a good week out there.